Hey guys, how's it going? Welcome to another RMA fire tutorial. This is RMA. I'm Alejandro. Okay, and then inside here, I'm not doing anything here. Let's delete that. On my Rambo, what I am doing is that I'm saying the P scale is equal to this scale attribute is what I'm controlling here, the tramp. And I'm fitting that between a random PT num 0.3 and 0.6 multiplied by the infection rate. What does that mean? So if I do at P scale, let me just do it this way because this is, we're gonna do a sphere. We're gonna use a copy stamp. And we're going to grab this and stamp this sphere onto that. So hold on, let's pack it so that it's fast. So right now the P scale is going to be pretty huge. We're going to get huge spheres. So if we can reduce that to 0.01, it's probably going to give us a better scale. Still really large. 0.01. Bear with me, I just want to kind of demonstrate this part so it's a little easier to understand. And I'm gonna do it just grabbing a couple of these points so we're not dealing with so many points. Let's blast this, delete non-selected, and then that way we isolate a couple of those points, and then we're scattering those spheres onto it. Okay, but what I want to do is control the P scale on my points, not on here. So if we do a ramble and we do add P scale is equal to fit01 rand, so that it randomizes it between the point number. So rand at PT num, and then we fit it between two values, 0.1, 0.5, whatever, and 1. And then that's gonna give me a random point scale on all the points between a 1 and this number. So if we increase it, you're gonna see that we're gonna get bigger values. And so I usually do something where it's like between something 0 and 1, and then you can scale it up here, but then you get a wide range of different point number. So you can see that I did fit01 rand at PT num between a 0.3 and a 0.6, and then a channel ramp and the scale. That's gonna give me this slider to control it. So we're gonna add that here. So we're gonna do tramp, and then we can name this whatever we want. So scale or XX or bananas or X or whatever we want. Okay, and then we close this parenthesis. And you're gonna see that we wanna do this, and then everything else can stay the same, but we're gonna need one more parameter, one more like closing bracket here. Okay. So sorry, we don't need it here. We actually need it in the end. And then this is working, but you need to click this so that it gives us this parameter thing. And then you can see that now we can control that scale from here. But then the last little thing that I wanted to add is multiply this by our infect attribute. And what that does, as you can see, is that it only gives us a value on the infected particles. Everything else is 0. So we don't have to delete those points. It's faster at render time. We're only gonna see the ones that are flying out. Everything else is gonna be 0 in scale. So that's important. Let's just delete this, and then that's it. That's what I did there for the particles that are flying out. The particles that are on the inside, I didn't really do anything to them. What I did do though is on the geometry. So we're gonna come here to our out base, and we're gonna tell it to show us where this is coming from. And this comes from the beginning. So the out base, let's delete this. So we have our original geometry. I'm subdividing it so that I can get more information in here. And then I'm gonna grab not the cached ones, but the low res particles. And then I am gonna transfer the infect attribute on the points. If we do a color to visualize what this is doing, it's going to color our geometry based on the points that have been infected. So see, the places where they have been infected, it is coloring the geo. And we can sort of control that here. Or like blend it more. I mean, we can't, not too much, but yeah, can control it just a tiny bit. Which is basically the points. So as the points grow, it's gonna color the geometry more. And then what I'm saying is that if infect is less than 0.1, remove 0.0 and add pt num, and what that does, it removes the points that have been infected. And as it grows, it's just gonna delete more points. And then I'm doing a time shift so that it happens a little later. You know, you can control this so that like it happens whenever you want it to happen. But essentially, as you can see, what's gonna happen is that we have the 3 sims. And you will have sim on the inside growing, sim on the outside also growing outwards, and everything that this sim on the outside is doing is touching is deleting the geometry, so you will be able to see through the sim on the inside and the one on the outside. So let's just have a quick look at the things that I am doing on the render time. Alright guys, so this I made it red because it is a node that I want us, I'm gonna leave the cache nodes here for you guys. I left it red because I want my camera. I chose camera number 1. I am gonna delete camera number 2. Actually, sorry. Number 1, camera number 1. I chose the area where I want it, and you hit enter and Z, and you can choose your Z depth. So we select here Redshift count, enable depth of field. That's gonna give us our Z depth. And then here I am gonna render this part on the main, just the particles flying outside. Then I'm gonna create a geo node, and inside of this, geo node, I am bringing in my the broken sculpture, which is this one here, the one that we just talked about, because it's already broken. And this part right here, we don't need anymore. So this is where I'm adding the material, and I am doing no subdivisions in render time or anything. That is basically the geometry. Let me turn this off. You will see that the geometry broken and the pieces of the points that are being, scattered, but they all have a 0 value, so you're only going to see the ones that are flying out. And then lastly, the inside points. On the inside points, I am doing the same thing, bringing them in here. So if we look at where are they coming from, they come from in here, right? Our inside points after the simulation has taken place. And then I'm doing p-scale is equal to fit01 rand at pt num 0.5 and 0.9, same thing, so that I can get random point numbers. Then I am also scaling them down by a 9/8, which in theory we wouldn't really need to do it, but I wanted to push them in a little bit more. And then on this one, on this block, I am grabbing the ID of the particles, I'm randomizing it and plugging it into a ramp and exporting that at my CD, so that here I can play with whatever colors I wanted it to have, and it sticks to the geometry as they grow out. So that's that. We enable all of the layers together, and that is what you want to render. Coming to the camera, and this is where the camera looks like. And I have an RS light, RS dome with a texture HDRI here. This $F.5 expression is having the dome rotate slowly over time. So if you make this invisible, you will see that the dome is rotating. And I have two lights, one here and one right here. And what I did to the lights, I only just RS light, put a light. I looked at where is this light pointing, so you look at this little arrow here. So the light is indeed pointing towards the model. Both lights look towards the model, and I just tinted them. I gave them a little bit of a color here. Okay, and then what you want to do is, for the main, where this is our particles, and for the inside particles, since these are both particles, we want to select them both and come into Redshift, particles, render object as particles, and play with the scale that you want it to be. I made it super small, 0.001 in scale. You don't need to do that on the broken geo. Now, for the materials, very, very, very simple. We come here into this material. You will see that this is my material right here. I'm going to delete everything except for the stuff that we actually need here. And that is how I'm going to give you the file. So, the sculpture. This is a gold material that I changed the reflectivity a little bit. And I added a bump onto the noise. And a noise onto the bump. Then if we go to the out context, default Redshift node, but I just changed the output name to be $OS$OS.$F.exr. So this creates a folder, it names my files, it creates a folder called whatever you name this, and then inside the folder, it's gonna name each frame the same name that you did here, $F.exr. What does that mean? We created on my render Redshift prop1, $OS, inside Redshift prop1 and the name and the frame number, $OS, Redshift prop1, $F, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 10, whatever frame, and it makes it an EXR. I render from frame 50 to 250, and I select the camera that I wanted. So if we go to render view, Let's just save. In here, we select the rough that we want, select the camera, and we go render. And this is what we're seeing. If we come in here on the material, I will show you what this noise is doing. We connect this to just instead of a material, we connect the noise. We're going to be able to see what the noise is doing. I made the overall scale pretty large. We reduced the amplitude a little bit so it's darker, and increase the frequency. Just those three things I changed, nothing else. And then if we connect this to the material, and we connect this onto a bump, RS bump, and you reduce the scale, you can play out how much you want that scale to affect. Like if we go here, when you make it a 1, you will see that it's boom, the noise is huge. So I wanted it to be like pretty small. Something like this. And then you will see that the lights are doing a lot of work here. Because if we turn the light off, for example, the green, see, it just shows the gold color only. But I kind of wanted to have it sort of that pop, artsy kind of look, and a little bit glowy. Okay, and for the particles, let's have a look. Main, so on the material, this is super simple. This unused material and unused material, and this is our gold particles. So I created a gold material. All you have to do is create a material and select your gold. And then I am using an RS point attribute, and this calls in the color. So whatever color we made the particles, it's gonna make it that color. And then I added a ramp to kind of like play around with what color I wanted those particles to be, and connected that to the diffuse and the reflection reflectivity. And that's giving me my particle color. And then you come in here and then you select the 2 particle things, the 2 particle nodes. Sorry guys, I made a mistake. I deleted something I shouldn't have. I deleted these particles. You see my particle material here. This is gold particles. Let's see. I accidentally deleted my gold particles. So what we want to do is, these are going to be our inside particles. I'm going to put this here and name this the gold particles. And then here we just make it a default gold. And let's copy this reflectivity here and paste it here. The reason being is that the outer particles, I want them to be a similar color from the skin surface, and then the inside ones, I'm just giving them some fancy, some cool colors. So we come in here and we go into the render. We want to apply on materials, the material on particles, the material out here. Broken geo, you can apply the material on the inside. And then inside particles, you can apply the material out here. So we can have a look at what the render looks like, but the truth is it's not gonna look as cool as my final result because it's much less particle. It's much less particles. So what you're gonna have to do if you're using my original file is see how small the particles are. For example, on the inside particles. We're gonna have to make them much bigger because the less particles you have, the bigger they need to be to actually be visible. Stupid. But as you delete, you will see that it will have the inside filled, and the other ones you can already see them flying there. Of course, you need to really pack it in there and have a lot of particles so that it covers the edges, and then you get all that beautiful detail. But you will see that the inside particles, they are getting this random color, but I'm overriding that on the material out here with these ones. Then we have the gold particles, and then we have the sculptures. And then just let it cook and wait. I recommend you do like a low res sim to see the particle behavior and start going up. Higher res, higher res, higher res. What I'll do is I'll give you guys this this tutorial file so that you can see exactly like the things that we moved on during the tutorial. And then you will also get the original file so that you can check out the original parameters that I used. Alright guys, thank you very much, and I look forward to showing you guys more cool stuff.